What's going on? I was gonna make this video earlier, but I've been watching my own version of football. It's my favorite thing to watch on TV or listen to on the radio. Anything that has to do with politics, I'm all about it. That is football to me right there. The U.S. Senate, everybody's debating and arguing and blah, 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 running their mouth. I love it. Anyway, I said I was going to talk about the Fast and Furious program, so I'm going to talk about the Fast and Furious program today, and then I'll talk about something else tomorrow or whenever I feel like doing it. Anyway, in 2006, Democrats took back the House under frustration from the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. I understand everybody was a little upset because a lot of stuff kept coming out and everybody was mad, so they took over control. In the meantime, we got nothing done. And Barack Obama ran for president, got elected. Now, early in Barack Obama's presidency, they passed the stimulus package, which was supposed to keep unemployment below 8%. Hello, it's 9.2. So that did not help us at all. It was a big fat waste of money. The bill was about $850 billion, and it was over 1,588 pages. So that's kind of retarded. But now, what was in that bill? What was funding in that funding for the Fast and Furious program was actually in the 2009 stimulus bill. Now, the suspicion that is coming out right now is that the American government knowingly allowed drug cartels to purchase guns and then use them in the commission of crimes. I mean, they're drug cartels, right? If they're drug cartels, they're already breaking the law. They're criminals. So therefore, when they shot Agent Brian Terry, I don't know why anybody's surprised. 2 assault rifles from this killing were traced back to this sting operation called Fast and Furious. Okay? Now, also, in February of this year, pardon me, I'm going to have some coffee. In February of this year, Special Agent James Zapata, and I'm probably not saying his name right, so I apologize, and Special Agent, I don't know, the guy was injured. He's still alive, so we'll just go with that. If you look up James Zapata, you will find the other information on the other guy. But the guns that were used in these crimes also have been traced back to this bungled sting operation where they sold automatic weapons to the drug cartels. That's pretty much it. Now, why does this matter? Democrats have long held that the Second Amendment doesn't mean what the Second Amendment says. It's supposed to only be a militia, but see, they forget about that little thing called comma, which separates the militia part from the people part. There are two separate ideas. Yes, there should be a well-regulated militia. It's not the National Guard. The National Guard is under control of the federal government. It can be activated by the states, but that's not what they mean by the militia. Militia is citizen soldier, okay? Not this garbage they talk about all the time. Look up the Militia Act. I think it's of 1783. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I could be wrong about the actual date. But there is something called the Militia Act, and it was something they passed a long time ago. That they made every person that could, able-bodied person, own a gun, own powder, own shot. I think it had something to do with the war, another war or something. I don't know. But just trust me, the whole separate act is long since expired. Anyhow, now, Democrats are all about gun control. And recently, a man, in 2010, McDonald versus Chicago, this case was decided in the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision that the people do in fact have the right to bear arms. The people, like individual, you, me, anybody that wants to have a gun that's not a psycho killer like Jared Lautner the guy that shot the baby killer guy, Tiller the baby killer, the abortion guy, the late-term abortion guy. There are crazies of all stripes and colors. Me personally, I would take myself to be a little crazy, but I'm never going to shoot anyone, that's for sure. I don't own a gun. I don't really like guns, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have one if you want one. If you want a gun, you want to own 100 guns, cool. As long as you're a law-abiding citizen, I'm not worried about you, because it's not you that I need to worry about. It's the criminals. Anyway, furthermore, on May 20th of this year, 2011, Felipe Calderon came to America and addressed Congress. Now, while he was there, instead of speaking in his native tongue, which is Spanish, he spoke in English. Now, it is actually customary for foreign leaders and dignitaries, if they address our Congress, to speak in their native tongue, because they're supposed to be addressing their audience back home from what is our seat of government, one of the seats of government. The reason why he spoke in English is because he was talking directly to us. And he was talking about our immigration policy, first and foremost, which, by the way, he has no room to talk, because if you look up the Mexican Constitution as it relates to immigration, we're a whole lot nicer. That's all there is to it. Second of all, he started talking about gun control. Mexican citizens, as a matter of fact, folks, America, Switzerland, and Israel, we are the only 3 countries in the world that have places or have pretty liberal gun laws. Now, in some states you can't have this and you can't have that, but if you go to a state like Arizona, like I said, you can pretty much carry your gun to church, anywhere else you want. But you don't, it's not the Wild West down there. You know what I mean? If you go to Chicago, they got more gun crime than anything, and it's like the wild Midwest up there, right? I mean, they're crazy over there. They got all kinds of gun violence in Chicago. Anyway, but Felipe Calderon came and said that America is part of the problem with the whole gun violence thing. And you know what? We kind of are, because we kind of just let our government do whatever they want to do, and nobody gets mad about it. It's like, oh, the government did that? That's the whole thing, folks. This was planned out. They were trying to set us all up with more gun control legislation. Do you know how I know this to be a fact? Right after Gabby Giffords got shot in Arizona, I'd say less than 2 weeks, maybe less than 4 or 5 days. I mean, she hadn't even got out of the hospital yet. Democrats were already introducing more gun control legislation. Check this out. Now that we've had this decision go on, right, and there have been a few other decisions. There was another case in Washington, D.C. about Second Amendment, and it had something to do with restrictions, and I don't know, man. I don't really spend too much time on the gun control issue. As long as they don't take them away, I'm cool. But there's a whole new treaty now being proposed at the United Nations about small arms control, from keeping them from terrorists. Let me tell you something. First of all, if we sign the treaty and it's ratified in our Senate, we're screwed. Second of all, terrorists don't give a crap about international law. Passing some stupid treaty about small arms is not going to help anything at all. As a matter of fact, do you think Somalia or Darfur, or is Darfur in Somalia? I think it is. I'm not so sure at the moment. I don't really care right at the moment. Do you think that small arms control giant legislation to cover the whole entire world is going to affect a terrorist? No. They already buy their guns on the black market. There's no need for laws. You got to catch them. So anyways, the Fast and Furious debacle. I hope these families get to sue the crap out of the federal government and I hope they get a whole crap load of money, because it's very rare that we get to see a conspiracy in action. I mean, that's what it is, folks. It's a conspiracy. They wanted to blame us and put us down the road and say, hey, we got to control more gun purchases and sales in America. No. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing that needs to be controlled in this country is our government. And people need to wake up and start really paying attention to what is going on in this country. The whole Fast and Furious program is just like the program they used in the mid to late 80s that was directly tied to the explosion of the crack epidemic in the big cities. Why? This is a special I saw on 2020, number of years ago, 15 years ago or so, 16, 17 years ago. They did an investigative report on 2020, and they talked about how the government, or the DEA at the time, I think they were trying to catch Pablo Escobar or Manuel Noriega, one of those two cats. Anyway, in order to let the operation seemingly go down, right, like it was like a big deal, the government let large amounts of cocaine hit the American streets, because you can't ruffle the feathers, you know what I mean? Like, same thing with the guns. That's why the guns got in the hands of the cartels and the people that would actually use them to shoot and kill our Border Patrol agents. Because that was the point. They wanted the people to get the guns. They wanted the people to get the cocaine, because they're trying to find like the other leaders and stuff. Like they're trying to like draw a map to where these people are, instead of just doing the hard work to actually secure the border or build a fence or actually do anything that resembles something logical and smart. So maybe it wasn't necessarily a plot to bring on more gun control. It was definitely a bad idea. And that's what happens when you get into a room full of smart people. They come up with stuff, it sounds great, they run with it. And it's actually stupid. Kind of like letting cocaine hit our streets in the mid-80s, late 80s, and early 90s. Because all that happened was it created a crack epidemic. People still smoke crack, lost on crack. Excuse me. And it really is just that simple. Your government is retarded. And it's not that these people are themselves retarded. It's that they're too smart for their own good. People have said that about me before too. But anyway, these people really are dumb. And I don't know. But let's pray for those families who have in fact had their loved ones killed by the stupidity of our government. The crack epidemic. And I don't know how many more Border Patrol agents are going to be shot by drug cartels in the meantime with guns that the ATF and the Barack Obama administration and Eric Holder are all responsible for this, because they're all the chief law enforcement officers in the country. Barack Obama is responsible for this. Eric Holder is responsible for this. The head of the ATF, I don't know. This is very deep, folks. It's not a conspiracy theory. It already happened. That's just the point. It already happened. So, do a Google alert. Search it out for yourself. Fast and Furious. It's a big debacle. And let's hope and pray that these families get the money that they deserve to help deal with their pain and suffering, or whatever it is they are seeking from the federal government. I would like to see the federal government admit what it did wrong. Period. And if I were these families, I wouldn't stop until they did. So Fast and Furious. It's not just a movie, people. It's a really bad idea. Oh, and quite frankly, some of those Fast and Furious movies are pretty stupid too. But you know, whatever.